whole world awaits me, holding my breath, reaching up to take me, holding my breath. The whole world awaits me, holding my breath, reaching up to take me.
An earthquake can happen at any time. Be aware. Drop, cover, hold on. Crouch and cover your head with your arms. Hold firm in an internal doorway. Avoid running outside or using stairs. Stay away from elevators and move away from outer walls, glass windows, and hanging objects. Remember, when the earth quakes, do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Now, are you ready?
Yes! We're ready!
Visit weready.org, brought to you by SEDIMA and the European Union.
The whole world awaits me, holding my breath, reaching up to take me, holding my breath. The whole world awaits me, holding my breath, reaching up to take me.
Without any further ado, I invite the Prime Minister to give an opening statement.
Thank you, Philomena. Good morning to our sisters and brothers of the press, and of course Siobhan, who is joining me here from the Ministry of Finance. As you all may be aware, we just, at the same time while we're here, there's an important retreat, a budget retreat taking place at the Trade Center Annex and this happens to be the earliest start of the new budget process for 2019. The first time we've done it so quick. So early, usually it's after Carnival. It's a clear indication of the proactive nature of the Ministry of Finance and its staff at this particular time. Colleagues, I wanted to do this press briefing today as Prime Minister for a number of reasons, but more specifically, every year at this time I have issued statements to visitors and Grenadians returning here in this particular period of the festive season. And this year we are seeing a tremendous increase in arrivals of Grenadians living abroad and, of course, Caribbean and other nationals coming to our festival. In other words, our festival is becoming more and more popular, which is a good sign of the progress of those who are running our shows in a general sense. So I wanted to take this opportunity to welcome our visitors and Grenadians returning. In fact, I was informed on Saturday there was a different period, 6 major airlines landing here at one time, which almost told us that our airport tarmac needs to be expanded, simply because there was really a touch and go to accommodate all those flights, some of them at the same time. There were hundreds, I would say thousands of visitors, I should say, because 6 flights with that level of persons coming, you're talking certainly over 1,000 person arriving. And I think it's at this point that I wanted to congratulate and to thank the Immigration Department for the expeditious way in which they handled that, but unusually large incoming visitors at one particular time to the country. And the customs fought hard, but there were some delays there. But the immigration really, because of the new technology that they've put in place, that they were able to handle things much faster than the customs were able to. We have to work on that area. Colleagues, therefore, I want to say that based on all reports that I'm getting, the Carnival season seems to be going very well. Most of the shows that we have got information from have indicated that they're much larger turnout than they saw in previous years. Most activities seeing a lot of participants. In fact, on Sunday I was able to do part of a cruise, and I saw about 5 boats, including large ones, and there were thousands of people participating, to the point that they had to leave. People who wanted to go on a cruise could not go because the turnout was much larger. So everybody got business, and that's a clear indication what is happening in our country and the nature of our festivity at this particular time. I also want to take this opportunity to compliment the Royal Grenada Police Force for taking the steps necessary to make sure that our festivities go on with little or no incident as possible. The entire police force has been informed by, I've been informed by the acting commissioner. They have been mobilized for this particular period, and not just for this period, in dealing with some of the problems that we have seen in recent weeks. We have taken steps to ensure that anyone who has public activity do, in fact, make sure they get permits, so the police is aware that it is occurring, so the police can, in fact, provide oversight and security support to ensure that they go on these activities, which we like to see continue, go on without major problems. The police also taking initiative like any other place, to search certain persons within in those that they see in some of those areas, simply because um, it is inconceivable or difficult to understand that you go into a show, that you're going to enjoy yourself, and at the same time you walk in with cutlass and big knives. Clearly, you're going to war. So clearly, you ought not to you ought not to make the shows a place of possible problems for the society. So police is going to be aggressive in that respect, and their searches are going to be done on vehicles in the night, particularly when major shows are on, to ensure that people are obeying the law, because one cannot carry an offensive weapon in a vehicle, particularly a gun or anything like that, without being licensed. So the police is going to be very active. So I just want to compliment the police force in general and the members of the force, including the commission and all concerned, for their initiative. Grenada is seen, friends and brothers and sisters of the press, as one of the most peaceful countries in the Caribbean. We have to keep it that way. And while it appears to be so in terms of the statistics, we cannot say that we are without problems. So we have to continue to be taking steps necessary. And the steps are being taken also to deal with the traffic problem, because that is an issue for the police. In fact, an initiative now is going to be undertaken by the force to bring in what you call not persons who are going to be we call them almost traffic cops or traffic wardens. In other words, persons whose job is concentrated just on dealing with traffic problems. So the police officer, a full police officer, would not be concentrating and deal with the broader areas of crime and security in the country. I mean, it's not the nicest thing to see a guy in a uniform when we have other problems that we can be dealing with, standing up there for 3 hours telling us to come or to stop. I mean, and little baby can do this, so I think the police has much more important things to do. So we are moving in that direction. And we believe that having a body like this can, in fact, it wouldn't be, I don't believe it wouldn't be a burden on the taxpayers, because I honestly believe that because we have the number of incidents of traffic that we see, traffic laws being broken, we believe that they will be able to pay for themselves in some of the, and at the same time make sure that we as citizens conduct ourselves better than we are doing as far as our approach to traffic situation in our country. Colleagues, the next item I want to deal with is the economy of our country. I think we all should be very proud, and not just the government, of where we are as an economy. For the last 4 or 5 years, we are running a 5.8% growth in GDP. Colleagues, those who understand what that means, it means that of all the countries in the region, we are at the top in terms of economic activity. And what is particularly significant, colleagues, is the fact that we were under a structural adjustment program. I think that is the significance of this, and which means by being under this, a self-imposed structural adjustment program, we have limited ourselves from initiatives that we could have taken to do certain things which would have propelled economic activity even more than we had. But we agree that we must live within our means, and therefore we have implemented that structural adjustment program. But in the face of this, we had the most robust economy in the region for the last 4 or 5 years. That's a clear indication that some of us sometimes believe that if we are fiscally responsible, that means we won't be able to have growth and to create jobs in the country. What happened in Grenada the last 4 and 5 years has literally contradicted that perception, and I think it's very important. Now, the Ministry of Finance is projecting a growth of 3.5%, and this year, For I'm convinced, as I've consistently told you in the press, I do not change the Ministry of Finance numbers. When they give me, I reported it as they give me. But I honestly believe that it's very conservative. And I've said so on every budget, and every budget I've proven to be right. The regional and international financial institution in the final numbers have given, like they did last year when they projected 3.5, and we had growth rate of almost 5%. So it tells you that, but we accept it. But why I say that is, why I make the point, I need to say why I believe it's conservative. This year so far, for the first quarter, and we expect, based on the numbers we've seen, it will remain so for the second quarter too, which meant for the first half of the year, where we've seen 42.6% increase in construction. Colleagues, this is almost, it's difficult to imagine. Because last year when we had 4.5%, almost 5% growth, we only had about 18% increase in construction. So even this year we're looking at 42%. And it's not difficult to understand because the gravel and concrete is getting deluged by people trying to get sand and other services from gravel and concrete region have not been able to supply. In fact, they had to go to private sector persons who import in sand for their own projects to try to get some sand to sell to ordinary folks. So they can't seem to bring in enough sand. They can't seem to bring in enough cement. People are buying cement from the boat. And we have asked our friends in Trinidad to make more available supply to Grenada. They have increased the supply to Grenada, yet they're not able to supply our demands. And we have indicated to them if we don't get, we may have to go extra regionally, which I would want to do, simply because of the CSME rules that we have agreed to. But I'm clear, construction is up. The tourism numbers are up for the first half, over 10% increase. Cruise ship is over 26% increase. Agriculture is up, both cocoa and nut production and prices have already increased. Fisheries are up. The manufacturing sector is up. So you see the point I'm making. If the extent of the increase is so large compared to last year, I can't see how 3.5% growth can be said to be anything less than conservative. But I know the Ministry of Finance staff, they're doing yeoman's work, and I would never challenge a number. I just make the point, I believe it's conservative. Colleagues, it's important with that performance and the fact that we have, even the IMF commented on the job created during that period, to move from 40% to 23.4% unemployment in a 5-year period. That is large. That's a serious dent on the unemployment. But it's still high. It's still too high. But in addition to that, to the jobs created, we're also talking about what we are benefiting from international and regional organizations. We have announced to you that we're the first country who got serious monies from the Green Climate Fund. Over $125 million to our NAWASA statutory body to deal specifically with the water problem in the country, the sewage problems in the south and other parts of the country. And we have made application for other support, and we have very good indication that they're going to be passed. So you're talking grant support. We don't have to pay back 1 cent of this. Had we not behaved ourselves or conducted ourselves in a responsible way and lived within our rules, then we would not have seen that sort of support. And it would be foolish for us to do anything to interfere with that perception outside there. In addition to that, colleagues, I remember when I went to Washington last year, as you know, I've been given the responsibility of chairman of small states. And therefore, a lot of the organization, the International Development Agency, IDA, and other international institutions have agreed to pump significant sums into the climate change and small states issues, disasters, and so on. And we were the first country that was announced. We announced that we will get $65 million US. And they told us, while we will get this, we can make application to front load that money because they won't give you all at once. So and the first set will give you for budgetary support. We made application and it's been announced, and I think the money should have been at the ECCB sometime late last week. $30 million US. Out of the 65, we're getting that already. But I want to be clear, colleagues. The understanding of this money is that we use it for a number of reasons to create opportunities in our country, not just to pay salaries. Because if we do that, you won't see another cent. So half of that is going to be used to pay down some of the debts that we have. In other words, we have debts that the country owes. Some of them are high interest loans, 10%, sometimes in some cases a little more than that. It wouldn't make sense to keep that money and then keep using that money to pay a debt that is 10% and so on. So we're going to using that, and the Ministry of Finance staff is going to be examining in a very scientific way those debts that they should use the money for. So you're talking half of that, 15 million, that's 40 million EC dollars. We're going to use that to pay down some of the debts. We do owe a lot of our suppliers, as you know, over the years. We owe a number of people with monies that we are not able to pay. So we'll start to pay down some of those commitments. Well, that the court ruled against us. We will use that to meet some of those fundamental areas of commitments that we have. But the point is, that $65 million US you're talking about, which we got to 30 million US already. You're talking about a 40-year loan, 10%, 10 years grace. In other words, we don't have to pay a cent. 0.75 interest. I'd like to see a lot more of that. I would love to see not the 65 million. I would like to see a lot more. That's IDA, and we're the first country that's been able to get such initiative from the World Bank through IDA. So I think it tells us something. Now, therefore, the Homegrown Structural Adjustment Program has reaped incredible rewards. And that's the point. The debt to GDP ratio has been significantly reduced from its high of 108% in 2013. Grenada is therefore well on track to achieving a target of 60%, well ahead of the ECCU target of 2030. Not only the ECCU saying that they expect all countries in the region to reach 60%. We are ahead of that. By 2020, we'll reach there. Again, it's showing, but colleagues, I remember when I was explaining to colleagues about the debt to GDP ratio, I was being challenged. Well, what's the debt? What's the debt? And I keep explaining, it's not the amount of debt, it's the debt to GDP ratio that you're going to be judged by. Because if your economy is growing and you're providing jobs, your GDP, which is your denominator, those of you who understand fractions, right? Your debt is the numerator. So even if it increases slightly or decreases accordingly, and the numbers below, the GDP, goes up in a significant way as it has been, that means you're in good position. That means you're able to pay whatever you owe. But let's suppose you have a smaller debt. The number top is smaller, but the number below decreases. You're not growing the economy. You're in a lot of trouble. That's the point I was trying to make. So while it's easy to get the number, the debt, you cannot just ask for the debt. You also ask for also the GDP. Ask for both of them. Then do your division, and then you'd understand. I keep telling this, but every time I watch the news, I see somebody asking, well, where is the debt? Where is the debt? And I said, Lord have mercy. So I'm not trying to hide anything, and if anyone wants the total figure today, they can get it easily. Colleagues, government is delivering on its promises to restore the pension to those who are disenfranchised. I think you've known this. But significantly, colleagues, we announced that the total payout for just these 2 years, March 4th, 1983 to February 22nd, 1985, 54 workers. The numbers have been adjusted according to the ministry staff. When we saw it was 7.2, it's $7.7 million. That is the numbers. Very soon you'll see people are coming to the ministry. I think they have done a few of those already, who come to the ministry and start collecting their checks. The Ministry of Finance staff, colleagues, the Ministry of Finance staff has worked, in my view, miraculously, because the discussion between the government negotiating team and the trade union movement leadership had projected that we will pay those over a period of 4 months, up to September, October. The Ministry of Finance staff, after they crunched the numbers, they said when the combined total back pay, gratuity back pay, pension back pay, and the upcoming period that we have to pay for the rest of the year, they said that they only had savings for this amount, $4-point-something million. But they said, Prime Minister, why don't we just use some of the grant money we have and just pay off the other 2-point-something, and so pay everybody in that category. They were the ones recommendation. So when I listen a statement made by someone that the Ministry of Finance staff is insensitive, I think it's unfair. We should be applauding the workers. These are our workers. These are our staff. And many of these are bright young people making a tremendous contribution and working extremely hard. The staff there at the Ministry of Finance. Some of the young people, some of them came from different departments. And the level of work that we've seen coming out of them is quite fascinating. So sometimes we just look at just the minister or just the PS. They are very important people. But the persons who work with them are as critical as those individuals, without those persons pulling their weight in the system. So I just want to take the opportunity to compliment the Ministry of Finance staff. In addition, when we announced that we consider giving additional monies to the families, I want to be careful, colleagues. I want this to be reported exactly what it is, because I don't want any misunderstanding there. There was a perception that we announced that everybody will get $100. We didn't do that. We announced that it would be $100 per household. In other words, if there are 3 persons in a household getting the $200, it's only one extra $100 they would get. But if there's a 1 person in a household, they would also get $100. The time will come when we say we'll give everybody the 100. We haven't reached that stage yet. But it was costing $1.8+ million. And therefore, those checks have started since 2 weeks ago, Thursday. The ministry again went beyond the call of duty and made those payments. And some of these people, I tell you, you will see some of those, hear some of the comments and see some of those when they're receiving the checks and how much they're thanking the government and the staff of the Ministry of Finance. And of course, the Ministry of Social Development for bringing us to where we are today so that they can get, and colleagues, let me say this. This is not, I'm not knocking my chest over this. This is still minimal. If we could do something more next year, at the next budget, then I will do so. Because I believe we're talking about people who have made contributions, who have done a lot of work for us in different places. Some of them might be fishermen who did not, there were no savings. Some of them might be farmers who gave us a lot during their time and so on. And they did different things, but they don't have the means and they don't have necessarily the families, because that's a criteria for qualifying. There's a perception that as soon as you reach 65 or something like this, you will get it's not that. You are not getting, you have to qualify based on criteria. Because whenever I'm asked this But Prime Minister, I'm 72 years and I went there and the seat officer tell me I don't qualify, I don't understand, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, my dear, my mom is 95, she's going to 96 very soon. She celebrating 96th birthday. But she can't get any. She's 96, almost there. So I said, so it's not age, because our son is Prime Minister, she has, almost every one of us have our own profession and we can take care of her. So that's our responsibility. The state should not be financing basic services for somebody like my mom. And therefore, I wanted to use this to make that point. Colleagues, as you know, we recently had the ECC monitoring concern. Of course, we put out a public statement on this. But one point that did not become public was based on the communique, was the fact that there were discussions on the Citizenship by Investment Program, CBI. And as you know, Dominica, Grenada, Antigua, St. Lucia, and St. Kitts have CBI programs. We're the only one in the region with that. There were reports, and as I pointed out to my colleagues, that some of the applicants that have been approved in some of the jurisdiction, we didn't call names, may be being given passports without the regional checks from the CRRF, the Center for Regional Activities, that's with security activities, CRRF. Now, and of course, Impacts, who's also work with all international agencies. So that was pointed out. So despite the fact that almost everybody was saying that that does not happen in their jurisdiction, the fact is rumors are out there. So I told my colleagues, we have to deal with this. If it is not true, then we must confront it. But to just say it's not true, and these rumors are being circulated. So they have mandated me as chairman, of course, clearly to work with the governor of the central bank, to meet with, not necessarily me, but I can set up a system to communicate with the CCRRF security unit and the Impacts to examine this issue and to get the facts. So if any one of us allow applicants, they would have the data and present it to us. So if it happened to be anybody in Grenada that did not go through, I would know. And then I would confront my departments, whether it's FIU, in this case it would be CBI committee. If it happened in St. Kitts, and St. Kitts was able to look at this applicant. The records show that CRRF did not receive it. Impacts did not have a say in your approval. So please do something about that. And they will check it and verify whether in fact it's true or false. And if it's true, then they have to deal with that accordingly. Colleagues, and the last item I want to deal with is the FROC report. See, that's the point we're making. We have put our belly out there to an independent group. That has never happened in the history of this country. I've been in government for a lot of years, where a government has put an independent body, totally unconnected to government. No one can say this person is an NNP or NDC or whatever it is. They are all professional persons. And they examine the government books for all the laws that we pass and to make sure that we live within it. So whatever our needs are, whatever sectors of the society, if you want government to do certain things, you have to make sure that we don't break those laws. Because if we satisfy you on your demands and we break a law, I am held accountable for this. So to ask me to make a decision to break a law, the FROC will call me out. And I don't know that I wish to be called out by some independent body. Goes in a press conference and says the Minister of Finance is not leaving, he passes law and look at what he's doing and blah, blah, blah. I can't afford this. So we have to all work together, because what we're talking about is not about me. We're talking about the future of this country. So if we don't live within our means, it's not Keith Mitchell get hurt alone. He may get hurt politically, but the country gets hurt. And I think that's the one I'm concerned about. I could defend myself, but I think the country should not be. We are put there to protect the country, and therefore we have a fundamental responsibility. So I just wanted a few areas. Now I want to say that we accept the FROC as doing a very professional and independent job. But no institution is perfect, especially when it's just doing its first set of reviews. So we accept it, but there were some areas that need clarification. And I just want to point out a few of those. By the way, colleagues, the FROC report has been given to the public, as you all are aware. The government, in fact, will also be publishing very soon, before the end of the week. We should be presenting a thorough comments on the FROC report and pointing out the areas that we thought maybe some difficulties with in terms of explanation. One of the things that we recognize, colleagues, in passing an act, and I'm sure we all are aware of this, sometimes the language in the act gives room for different interpretation. And the FROC and the Ministry of Finance have agreed that we should not have that. There should be clarity. In other words, the law should be more specific. So it has been agreed that there's some areas would be tightened by Parliament. In other words, there should be some amendment to the act. I can't go through all of those to make it very clear what is meant by each of those areas. So the FROC will not interpret it one way and the Ministry of Finance interpret it one way, or somebody in the public, the media, whoever it is, interpreted it another way. So clearly there would be some serious information. So we'll present those reports. The FROC said there were no immediate debt to GDP ratio, which was set in 2017. What is key, colleagues, remember, the ECCB and others indicated that debt to GDP ratio was of 55% was a target for 2030. But they're right. It wasn't so specifically stated in the act. They give the impression that I could interpret it as being that you should, every year, you should be close to that. And if you're not, there should be steps taken to increase the primary balance to ensure that we can see that you will meet it in a certain period and a certain particular year. So I think that was an area that we will, in fact, give some explanation to. The next statement that was made is, given that the ratio was above 60% in 2016, that's the FROC speaking, corrective measures ought to have been taken to bring the ratio down to 55% within 3 years, that is by 1919, with 1/3 of the adjustment taking place in the first. In other words, every year we should 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And that's the pinpoint I made. So the lack of clarity in the debt to the ratio for a particular period gave the impression that it should be done a particular right now, almost right now. So there was an explanation given by the Ministry of Finance and team, and there's a few other areas. I don't want to bore you with this because you will have the entire document, the response from the Ministry of Finance, pointing out the areas that we all share similar views on, and pointing out the areas that there were some difference in views. But what is key is that both the FROC and the Ministry of Finance agree on a memorandum of understanding that they need to work together. So if the FROC has a problem with lack of explanation in a report, then of course it brings it to the Ministry of Finance so they can explain before the final report is in fact printed. And that happens with the audit report. As Minister of Finance, the audit department presents a report to us, a preliminary report. The Ministry of Finance, through the minister, replies on areas that they may have difficulty with. The independent audit department assesses the reply and makes a judgment. So if it feels that they were correct, then they print the report, and the Minister of Finance and the staff can't touch it. They have to bring it to Parliament just as is given. So that's the FROC method of reporting is very similar to that of the constitutional reporting mechanism for the other departments. So there are several areas I could go into, but I don't want to bore you further with this. I just want to finally make a point on the area of youth. Colleagues, it is known that we, as I mentioned, about 23.4%, we still have a high level of unemployment among our young people, which is much too high. And every young person that's out there without a job can be a potential problem for us, socially and otherwise. So it's no time, wait for them to do something and then we all cry them down, when in fact we haven't taken enough initiative and steps. And we must realize not all of them are academically inclined. In other words, you can't just say, I'll present scholarships for everybody, academic scholarships to go to university. Some of them need cars and skills, training to become plumbers, electricians, carpenters, masons, good farmers, good fishermen. Not the fishermen 30 years ago or 40 years ago that go and stand on the shore with a line and hoping to catch a fish. But serious fishing. There's serious opportunity. Some of the richest persons in certain countries are fishermen and farmers, because of the system that has been put in place to ensure that they can. So we are setting up skills training centers around the country. We also already have in Sautez a furniture making operation with over 50 young people. In fact, making furniture, because they give them equipment and persons to manage the system. And they will be making furniture for all sectors of the government service. In fact, if they're doing as they're doing so well, we expect that they'll be able to sell some of their furniture to even the private sector, to citizens of the country. But I don't see that one unit in Sautez can do that, so we may have to have more than one unit, maybe another part of the country, to put another operation. In addition to the training and technology centers that we are going to be implementing post in the 2019 budget, which we expect to be delivered in November this year. Colleagues, therefore, I think I've spoken longer than I really intended to. So clearly, I just want one last item. My press secretary remind me. There was an issue in Carriacou as it relates to the seed program and the fact that it has not been implemented in Carriacou at this point in time. And I want to make it very clear. The present political leadership of Carriacou cannot be blamed for any other problem that occur. There are issues related to, like we had in the mainland, and I mentioned publicly with the special projects, the needy assistance program, the uniform assistance program, the support for pauper burial funerals, the education support program. Many of these programs, colleagues, it is well known that I've stated our position on this. Everybody cannot qualify for these programs. And we saw abuse in the mainland where people simply did not qualify, but they got uniform allowance. They simply did not qualify, but they got needy assistance. Some undertakers are telling us we're supposed to have pauper funeral support, a couple $1,000s. But they have seen funerals where the coffin is over $30,000 or $25,000. And they have the massive happy hour. Yeah, they get a check from government for $2,000 and $3,000 for that funeral. Now, come on. Now, come on. If we have a conscience, how could we support that, even if it's our cousin on NN? We can't support it. So if you make a mistake and you're wrong, admit you're wrong and correct it and move on. I am not going to sit there, and I don't care who it is. We could be the strongest NNP and allow something like that to prevail, because then I will be abdicating my fundamental responsibility. Because while we're doing this, there's somebody out there who need a $2,000 and they can't get it. Because there's always that issue in the country. There are people there who needs it. Child wanted to go to university, cannot pay the bus, cannot buy the books to go to St. George University. Yet, we tell them we don't have. And yet we're throwing away $2,000 on some happy hour for a funeral and so on. It's fundamentally flawed. We have to agree. So the Carriacou situation, like Grenada, unfortunately, system were not put in place in Carriacou. And we know for a fact, just like the mainland, there were abuses in the program. Some people that should not get, did get, and continue to be on. And it's unfair to the present representative and those who are now leading to take that responsibility to make that change, because the minute that person makes that change, no matter how able that individual is, he or she will be vexed. And they say, well, when somebody else was there, I got it, you come and you interfere with me. So it's not the person's responsibility, it's government and my government. And I have to take the first ownership of this. So if they want to cause cuss for me, because I was leading the government at the time, and the Ministry of Social Development is cleaning up their act. And they're doing it in every constituency. And therefore they must do it in Carriacou too. So I ask my brothers and sisters to have patience. The Ministry of Social Development and the government, several government departments, will take a team up to Carriacou and to assess every single applicant. To make it a case, this is the condition for your being given, whether it's burial assistance or whether it's uniform assistance, whether it's school books support, whether it's needy assistance, whether it's seed. These are the rules. So if I'm in Duquesne in St. Mark's and I have to obey that rule, and you're in Hillsborough, in Carriacou, or Pleasant and Mount Pleasant, you must obey the same rule, because it's one country, one government. We have removed people on the seed in several parts of Grenada because people had shops. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we came in to government in 2013, and some people had shops. Some people working full-time, making decent salary, $3,000, yet they're on uniform assistance program. Come on, give me a break. That can happen. So we change it. In some cases, some of us got licks for it. But you know something about life? When you're right, don't be afraid of licks. You're right, and you're treating everybody the same. The problem becomes when Lucy comes, she gets through. John comes, you're telling me can't get through. Then you have a serious problem, because it means that you're making the decision based on personalities and not on basic fundamental principles. Colleagues, I spoke enough. I'm very sorry about this, but I felt I had an opportunity. This is an opportunity to speak to you on these various activities. So, Press Secretary, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. A wealth of information there, and you do have permission to speak on all of those subjects, sir. We don't see you quite often enough, so when we do have you, we need to capitalize on that. We have outlined the subject areas for this morning. The floor will now be open to questions. I ask that we keep our phones on silent or vibrate so that it does not interrupt the proceedings. When you ask your question, please identify yourself and your media house before addressing your question to the Prime Minister. And let's keep our questions very short and precise.
Just press and release. Oh, thanks. Morning, Calistro, Fari Business Files. My questions have to do with the monitor. Mommy dressed me this morning. My questions had to do with the Monetary Council. The EC dollar is now back 97.1. Very, very strong. The baseline is 60. There are some economists who believe that should the council look at a floating situation, the development could be well driven in the region by all of this capital, which is now being held by U.S. banks, being freed up for development within the sub-region. Is the council even considering that? Is there any talk of that at all? And also, given that Trinidad floated but has remained stable at 6-1 for quite a while.
Well, I think when you start tampering with your dollar, you're going into uncharted territory. I'm sure you would recognize the problem, for example, Jamaica dollar has. You know the problem Trinidad dollar has. You know, right now, many of the farmers in the OECS, particularly St. Vincent, for example, St. Lucia, are sending agricultural produce to Trinidad, with being sold, and they can't get the foreign exchange because of the tight control of foreign exchange, because the TT dollar is not being used in the OECS. So that's a fundamental problem. We on the other hand, our dollars can be exchanged to any currency. And it's because of the strong correlation between the EC dollar and the US dollar. If we start tampering with that, we have to study the ramifications of it. So while there might be some benefits to some extent based on what you just said, one has to be very careful of the overall impact of making interfering with this. And therefore, I think we are cautious. Maybe people would say we are too conservative. And I always believe that when you are not absolutely sure of something and the results of it, you ought to be very, very careful in making a decision. Otherwise, you tend to want in the future might have serious regrets in the initiative. So I think it's been discussed, but no decision has been taken.
So you also spoke on Friday about high charges, and the public has been saying they would like the governments to lobby to do something about that. But a lot of it is out of control because of international influences on it. But you spoke of non-fee options that you were encouraging bankers to guide customers to. So is that the position that we are taking, that there will not be any direct lobbying of the financial institutions to reduce fees?
No, we have lobbied. But they have made them, and not now, we've done it for the last 2-3 years, we have been lobbying. But they have come back to say to us, look, Monetary Council members, look at what it is costing us to do business. That it did not cost us 10 years ago. So the demands of the powerful guys, remember, when you're big, you're bad. They just send down rules. They don't even consult. Just tell us you have to obey. And you and I know money laundering hardly takes place in these islands. The real money laundering is in London, New York, and other big countries. We know that for a fact. The big money launderers, they don't put the money in Grenada and Jamaica. They put it in London. So most of the Russian oligarchs, their monies are in London. Right? So we know what the facts are, but they have the power, they have the rules, and if we don't live by it, we will sink. So clearly, we to some extent, we have to do certain things. So the bankers have said to us, look at what it's costing us. Now, if we refuse to implement and it costs them money, then we got serious problems to face. And they're saying, based on that, the only way they could recover is to increase services and fees. Now, what they are saying, and to some extent, they're not wrong. We should look more at the technology for banking. In other words, if you, instead of coming to the bank and writing a check, you use the technology, the debit system and other systems, which is technologically driven, and won't cost you anything. But I mean, we have to accept it. Some of us don't have a clue about the use. So the person that is most likely to be marginalized or be in the best position to use those technologies is people who can afford it and who are in a better position to withstand the charges. The poor man is the one who doesn't really, it's highly likely would be the ones not technologically driven. And is likely to be there, unfortunately so. So I think we have been asking them to look at that factor, the social problems related to this. But you know, the banks is not government, remember. Government look at all sorts of social factors in making a decision. So I think it's something we have to continue to work with our banking community. Look at the CBI program. The only banks we're getting right now to work with us is Cooperative Bank and to some extent Republic Bank. The others are controlled outside. And they're saying, your business is so small to us, Monetary Council members. We don't want to take chance in case one person you give become a problem and we get sanctioned. Our business is big business. So I'm only reading from what I'm not quoting, I'm just reading. They said, why we should take chance on you with a little piece of money we're talking about here in the region. So unless we do something that make it airtight, that there cannot be, and I don't think in life you could do anything that makes something that not one person over a period of time might slip through the cracks, so to speak. So you see the problem that we're facing.
Good morning, Mr. Prime Minister.
Morning.
Karim Mello is the New City newspaper. The problem that you spoke about in relation to the CBI program and the different countries, you spoke about a team having a meeting and having the problems dealt with. How can that be dealt with?
You know, what I said was the different ministers of finance who happen to be members of the Monetary Council, when it was raised about concerns that some applicants are not being passed through the regional security system for checks. In other words, somebody is given a passport before the regional institution checks it. They all denied it. They say that's not true. Now, my point is, since it's been said, and some of the statements been coming from the regional, some members of the regional security systems, it seems to me we can't just say it's not true and just leave it there. We have to confront it. So therefore, it was then agreed that as chairman, I should initiate some serious discussion with the regional security system impacts and particularly CRRF, because impacts relate with CRRF, and to be able to get the facts. And they would have it, because they would have all the applicants that were successful, and they would have those, if it is true, that did not pass through the system, they did not give okay to. So they would be able to verify. And then when I have that information, so let's suppose someone comes back and they say, well, Grenada, you gave these 5 persons and they didn't come to us before you gave them. So I get to my institution and say, well, look, these are the facts. They can't be lying. Why was this person sent to me to pass? Similarly, somebody comes and they say, there's 2 persons from Dominica. I call my colleagues. I'm not going to share that with the public, because that's for the decisions of I could share my own with the Canadian public, but that's for the Prime Minister of Dominica and the Minister of Finance. So I'll do that with my colleagues and say, look, CRF is saying that these 2 persons did not get okay from them, and yet they were given Dominican passports. What's the score? You see that point? So that's the way we'll go about it.
So therefore, it wouldn't be a problem for the applicant. It would be a problem for the person who facilitated the
yes, of course, it would be. It means that we have to put stricter measures in place in each to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Because don't forget, we are not saying that these people turn out to be problems for us, but they have issues in the past that may be a problem and wasn't properly checked. Or sometimes they had no problem, but they still should have been checked. So the issue is the lack of the thorough checks. So it may turn out that none of them have any problem at all, and they are perfectly legitimate applicants, successful applicants for passports. But the fact that it slip through the system, it must be troubling, because let's suppose they did. So that's the issue.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Mr. Tobias Clements' alleged protest with the parliamentary salary? What are your thoughts on that?
If he had asked me before he made the statement, I'd advise him that it's an unwise statement. It's ill-informed. None of us should send a message out there that what we're in this thing for is payments. I think that's a message he has sent out there, and that's for his own representation. I think it's an unfortunate statement. It makes it look like if he was expecting a lot of money, but as a member of parliament, you must know when you go into parliament what the rules are. When I went in there, I knew I was a member of the parliament already, a single member. I was neither leader of the opposition, as you remember, 1990 to 95. I was not leader of the opposition, neither I was a minister of government. So I got $1,200, and it's well known that I was making thousands and thousands of US dollars in America. That was not even my little drinks change with my friends in Washington. But I made no noise, because I knew why I came here was not for money. And therefore I think it's an unwise message. And but there's some other faultiness in the process that unfortunate Tobias statement gives the impression. I wonder if it's not meant to be just a public relations stunt, because it seems to me if you feel that your money is not enough and you want to give it back, you go to Northeast and take 5, 7 poor children and say, look, they give me this. I'm already drawing enough money from St. George's University as a professor, and I can afford to make the contribution. That is what I would advise him to do. But he didn't ask me. So it gives me the leverage to respond publicly and otherwise, because he made a statement which was unfortunate for his own interests. And I think I can't blame the press for taking it up, because that's your fundamental responsibility. But as a friend of mine and a colleague, I think he was unwise. And I hope he doesn't pursue that path. He said he's going to continuously doing it. Well, all I could say, I'd have to continuously making the point.
Some time ago, you spoke about a 3-member team to review the parliamentary rep salary. Where are we with that?
Yes, it's not been appointed yet. I must say that we have not moved as fast as we should. You have to realize whenever we're dealing with parliamentarian salary, in the face of some of the issues we're facing with the workers, we want to be very careful that we don't send a message that we're out there trying to take care of ourselves. But I definitely believe it's unfair, morally bankrupt for us to be paying parliamentarians the level of income that we're paying them. I think it's extremely unfair. Those of us who have independent resources and we didn't come in depending on government salaries may survive, as we have been. But I think it's very difficult for a person with mediocre means to come in and make a genuine contribution and be paid the level of salary and at the same time be able to take care of the family in a very independent way. I think it's unfair, and I think it's something that we have to correct. Unfortunately, we have a society, the parliamentarians must get nothing at all. We watch the budget and we see several people in the public service making 3 and 4 times of leadership in the public service, but we don't say a word about that. But let the parliamentarian get 1 cent increase. Noise for so. And we are the same people that are going to the parliamentarians. When we get our head hurt us, we don't go to those public servants that are making 3 and 4 times the salary. We don't go to the big businessman in the country. We come to the parliamentarian, the same person that we refuse and we said must not get any increase at all, and don't already going, money's way below what they should earn. These are the ones we still go to. And unfortunately, that's the society we're in. And I think we politicians must take some responsibility for that. Because I remember over the years when I'm in government and there was a discussion about the opposition made a lot of noise. Oh, when I get into government, some of my friends at the other side say, well, let me look at it. I say, no, I say nothing. I ain't gonna criticize it. When I was going to move, you didn't support me. So if you go and do it, quiet. So they won't touch it then. But I think now, we should be in a position to do something about it. I've already made the point, and I would say it over and over again, that it's not about me. The salaries of the Prime Minister should be set in a way that the Prime Minister, but it would not be Keith Mitchell. That's all I could say. The next Prime Minister will get the increase. Okay, yeah.
Mr. Prime Minister, I have a few more questions, so if I can only ask one more and give the others some
They always have a lot of questions. You must tell George I want to see him, I miss him. Just tell him that for me.
My questions have nothing to do with George. I have a question in relation to your son being appointed as legal advisor. There were some concerns being raised that, he was not called to the bar in Grenada. So they're saying that his appointment is questionable. And the fact that he was made legal advisor, it's not a position that is recognized in the Ministry of Finance. Can you comment on that?
Well, it's unfortunate that my son became an issue. It's extremely unfortunate. I cannot tell you, and that it's not just legal advisor. He's doing other work. My son, I don't think you know, he has a degree in law, and he has the call to the bar in 3 states in America. So he's very clearly well qualified. And of course, he is an engineer. He has a bachelor degree in computer engineering. So it's not just he can serve. And it was my advice to him while he was doing a lot of private sector initiative to zero in on some area and give a service. So if anybody has to take blame, it's me that says, look, time to settle down, get something specific and give some contribution to knowledge. And I think it's extremely unfortunate. Society must come to terms with this. You have never heard me attacking the sons or daughters of politicians. I don't do it because they have a right to work. And if he can do it a job, why raise it? That's an issue. In fact, I don't even know what he's getting paid. I asked him, what are they paying you? And he refused to tell me. So I have to find out. But that's not, in other words, money is not the issue. But he's making a contribution, and that's what I'm happy about. I'm happy about the contribution, because I believe that is demonstrating a sense of more responsibility, which is what I want for him. Because I'm not going to always be around to advise him. So I think it's faulty. Those who are using this, is unfortunate that they will single out family members. You have never heard me attacking the wives or husbands of politicians, no matter what. I made one objection one time when Tillman wanted to put his wife, and it was not about his wife, as a CPO. I heard somebody trying to compare Olinga's being advised in the ministry to that. How could that be? If you follow the definition of CPO, it's a very unique position. You cannot have your son or your daughter or your wife sitting there while recommendation coming from you. That decisions to be made and you are in bed with her every night. Something's fundamentally must be wrong with that. I would never even have attempted this. I remember, colleagues, in 1995 when I won the elections, Mr. Gordon Braffett was the chairman of the Public Service Commission. He was the brother of the sitting prime minister. I don't know if you all remember that. I made a statement then, and therefore I was consistent, that Gordon Braffett, I'm not talking about him as a person, maybe a good man to be Public Service Commission chairman, but he should not be that under his brother's watch as prime minister. I made that statement. That's when it was made before I came into government. In 1995, I came into government. The term of the Public Service Commission expired. It was expected that I would have removed him as chairman. And I made a public statement that I was extremely happy with his performance as chairman of the Public Service Commission, and that he will continue for another period of time. A lot of people were surprised. In other words, his appointment, as he was apparently qualified, was a good appointment for me, but a bad appointment for Nicholas Braffett. That is the point I was making. So if Tillman Thomas' wife was qualified to be CPO, she would have been a good appointment for me to make, but not for Tillman Thomas to make. That's the issue. Deal with issues, colleagues. Too many times we deal with personalities, not principle. Let's deal more with principle and our country would be better off. Too many times it's about Keith Mitchell. It's about that person. I don't like that person. I like this one. Time we get it right. It is time we do this, colleagues. So I hope, my friend, I've answered the question. Leave Olinga alone. He's a nice young man, right?
Well, Dr. Mitchell, I'm so sorry you said leave Olinga alone, because I had one question, not attacking Olinga, but asking, there's a lot of people have been commenting that his placement there may be related to a move by you to gradually bring him into the political side of things to replace you in the politics. Could you comment on that, please?
Well, that is so far from that is so far from the truth. If Olegan has never been, we don't spend any time discussing politics. It's one profession he said that he would never be in when he was younger. I cannot say that he has the same position today as he was 20 years ago. He didn't want to have anything to do with politics because he saw what I was going through. So if he was going to be in politics, the first place you'd have seen him is involved in my work in Northwest St. George's. And right now he's not. So I think that answers the question. I don't believe in handing over anything to anybody. I don't like this family, a perception of family-driven kind of positions. I don't like it. If he has to be, he must do it on his own. He must earn it. It's not going to be me saying, I'm placing you there. Fundamentally wrong, because he may embarrass himself and me in the process. So if he earns it on his own, fine. If he wants to be in politics, the field is open. He has a right. Doesn't even have to think about Northwest. He can work anywhere and become a serious parliamentarian. So I'm not saying that he shouldn't be. I'm simply saying that I have nothing to do with what he's planning to do.
Dr. Mitchell, I understand the MNIB is in a bit of problems.
Yeah.
What can you say? What's
Yes,
happening
it's quite a lot of problems, not a bit, a lot. That affects all of us. The marketing board is such an important area for us. The cabinet supported my recommendation on Monday to institute an inquiry, public inquiry into the operations of the marketing board for the last 5 years, and we're not touching NDC time. I'm dealing with our time. Tells you our job is to find out the facts and let the chips fall where it's supposed to. I am one who's convinced that we must all be accountable to the people of the country. And if mistakes were made or wrongdoings were made, then it has to be exposed accordingly. And no one is above the law. I am not above the law. As you know, I made the decision to take over the marketing board late October last year and reappointed myself there. And we made dramatic decision in changing the board, a marketing board. And we found out a lot of things that we didn't know. We finding out, I shouldn't say we found out, because that looks as if we don't need an inquiry. We are finding out some things that we were not aware of, and some of them are quite very, very frightening, and I'm extremely uncomfortable with what has emerged. I think we should be putting out a statement, and I made some comments at this launching of the Agricom project in Spice Basket, and the press secretary is going to be putting out a release reinforcing what I just said about the commission inquiry.
With the results of the inquiry pending, can you say, even at this stage, where the fault seems to be pointing to? Any early indication?
That would be very presumptuous for me to even say that. That means I've already concluded, and therefore I don't like to tarnish people without the basis and facts. But all I can say is all of us have to accept responsibility. I cannot duck responsibility as a prime minister then, because I appointed a minister, and the minister can't duck responsibility. The chairman of the board and board members cannot duck responsibility. The manager cannot duck responsibility. So we cannot say it's one person or two persons or three persons. I think we all have to accept responsibility, but we want to know who actually did what. And that's what we're going to find out from the institution, from the commission.
Was there an exit cost for us to get out of the PPP agreement we were considering with Lindsay?
No, none at all. But don't forget, we have not got out of exit. We're not got out of a PPP for any of the institution we are looking at. It's just that the one we were looking at did not work out based on the conditions that we set. But we are still going to negotiate. But what we decided to do, what we are doing before, is waiting for this PPP and this private sector person to invest the equipment invested monies into the new equipment and materials that we need, and equipment we need to manage and take advantage of the expanding construction sector. And we say we're not going to wait anymore. So government has decided to at least put on hold any further negotiations on this. So if the private sector person now comes and say, well, look, some of the conditions you were putting, we didn't agree then, but we are willing to look at them again. We're prepared to talk to them. If another one comes and say that we are prepared to look at those conditions, including what the other person had agreed to, then we are prepared to do so. So we have not stopped completely from talking PPP, because the fundamental basis, Kalisha, is this, that the gravel and concrete needs millions and millions of dollars in new equipment. The government will not have the money to put in all that is required to make it optimal in terms of development and taking advantage of the construction sector activities taking place. So it makes sense to get involved with someone who is able to put the money in immediately on proper terms, that he or she will in fact be able over a period of time to recoup his investment and profit related to this. Because don't expect the man to put in the money but just love Grenada. He's putting it because he sees an opportunity to make a profit, because he can take that money and invest somewhere else and make profits. So we expect that he will make reasonable profit, and we expect the conditions will be able to protect the people at the same time. So that's where we are.
So
just a point of reference here, Kalisha, Minister Gregory Bowen, in our last post-cabinet briefing, he outlined extensively all the reasons why the PPP could not be pursued at this time. But as the Prime Minister said, it's not something that we are not going to continue looking at, but this particular arrangement. So you can refer to the last post-cab briefing.
Oh, yes, I have that. Yes. I am aware. Thanks.
We have just about 5 minutes left. Any further questions?
Good morning, everyone. Cherry and Blackman Stephen from GBN. Just to go back to the issue with the appointment of your son, just for some clarity, so that we can properly close out that issue. You did admit that your son has been appointed in 3 states, I believe, in the U.S. to practice law.
Yeah, he's passed the bar.
You did not deny that he did not pass the bar in Grenada to practice law?
Well, you don't have to pass. If he's serving and providing legal advice, you don't have to pass a bar. If you go to court and you have to practice, then you must pass the bar. We have had people before who's not lawyers practicing to give us advice. I mean, that's free. That's something anybody can do. I can take a lawyer from the United States, a top lawyer, to come in and advise me on an issue. They don't have to be able to practice Grenada to advise me on legal matters. I think you're getting them wrong. You're talking about someone who is appointed in a legal position within the Ministry of Legal Affairs, for example. But if somebody's providing some legal advice on some projects,
even if it's within a state, a government.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, why would I want to do something that's not legally correct? Why would I want to do that? Why would I encourage him? He could have gone in the engineering area and provided services there and probably make more money, because that's a much more lucrative area than law. And he chose to go into this. That was his decision after finishing his bachelor degree in computer engineering at the University of Florida, as you remember.
Okay, one of the big issues dealing with child sexual abuse, I remember when the budget was being presented after the election, one of the big issues was to establish a crime unit, a sexual crime unit, and the registry. I'm not hearing much about that. Can you just give me an update?
Yeah, they're moving in that. The Minister and Social Services, they're moving aggressively. That's a very burning issue, and every day I think we see it in the press and other places, and some of it has not yet reached the press. It's quite frightening. The abuse of our children is something that must be troubling to all of us, you know. And to my own view is that I think a lot of this were existing before. I think it was covered up a lot. Maybe the only reason we've seen more and more of it is because more people are becoming bolder. Like even in the United States, you see a lot of people coming out now and speaking out about sexual harassment on the job that they never used to do before. So I think it's good for the society that people become more open. Some people are still suffering quietly incidents that occur in their youth by members of the family. None of us would ever know, but don't think it wasn't happening. So I think it's a very good thing. The ministry is moving in that direction. The minister feels very strongly. Anytime she talks about it, you could see the emotionalism come out from her. And she sees that how these young people things they have to go through. If any one of us had to go through what many of those young people go through, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about Prime Minister and members of the press and so on. We'll be somewhere else. Yes?
Dr. Mitchell.
Final question.
Sorry, Philo. Any updates on the oil situation? I know there's been a lot of back and forth as to exactly where we are and what we have, but do we now know what we have and when can we expect financial benefits?
Minister Bowen explained this thoroughly. He explained there is a lot has to happen between a find and an actual supply. So what we have announced is that we found significant in the first well that was drilled. And there were areas based on seismic study were showing better signs than the one we drilled on. So the 4 more wells will be drilled very soon. So we expect that the finds are going to be significant commercial value. If one has, but you can't have one and then you end the story. You're talking of years of development that we wish to have. So it is exciting for the country, but it will take some time before you actually see the monetary rewards. In Guyana, it took them about 12 years, but we're not going to take us that amount. Guyana had an additional problem because they were being challenged by Venezuela. As far as ownership, we are not being challenged by anyone as far as ownership is concerned. So we do not expect it will take that time. I certainly believe within this period of cycle of parliamentary that we will be seeing Grenada benefiting from significant resources.
So basically within this 5 years
yes,
now,
I feel confident that it will.
And what are the early projections based on what they have already found and researched? What kinds of numbers are they looking at in terms of its value? Because
we're talking a lot of money. And I'm frightened to mention it because next thing we'll get spoiled. It's a lot of money. And I don't want to quote numbers because I don't think it's in our best interest to do so. It is going to be significant. It could easily wipe out our debt overnight.
So billions.
Okay, Kalisha,
you said it, not me.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, can we have this final question from the reporter who has not spoken? Final, absolutely final question.
Okay, final question to you, Mr. Prime Minister. In the incident related to Karakou, as it relates to festivals, time after time, year after year, government has been pumping monies into various committees in Karakou, and there has been no form of reports annually as to how the money has been spent, and yet for all the committees come back to the government time after time. Subvention has been given to them and no report yet for all. When the festival fails, the government has to take the blows for the failure and so forth. What is in place to fix this going forward? Because we can't continue to be spending monies and not getting returns or even building the product.
Good question, my friend. A while ago, I announced that a delegation from various areas of the public sector will go into Karakou to look at the entire ministry and some of its operations and to deepen accountability to the taxpayers. We did it in the mainland, as I mentioned, in all the areas. Karakou, because it's not directly at the mainland, did not at the same time simultaneously have that sort of oversight. So we must do it before we begin to do some of them. Meanwhile, we cannot just let the festival go down the drain. So we had to advance resources, but systems will be put in place to make sure, like the seed people account. Uniform allowance personnel in charge must account. The burial assistance program must be accounted for. The festival donation given them has to be accounted for. There's so many things that we have to deal with, and I don't want to make it a Karakou thing. It was happening in the mainland, and we did a lot. I am certain that I cannot say that we have corrected everything in the mainland, in every single constituency, but we had not done the overall activity in Karakou, which is what we plan to do.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the media, thank you very much. Thank you, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, for given us so much information here this morning. I encourage the reporters present and those who are listening via the live feed to do your reporting responsibly. Feel free to call the press secretary to clarify anything you need to. I will see you again in 2 weeks. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy your carnival. Don't let me see you doing anything wrong that I won't do. Just make sure you do that, right? Kalisha.
It is said that education is the key to success. The Grenada Development Bank believes this to be the truth. Hence the reason we have made it our prerogative to ensure that your key is in safe hands with us. Here is how you can unlock your success with an education loan from the GDB. We offer you 3 loan options. We've got our regular student loan, our work-study student loan, and our special student loan. Our regular student loan is for persons who wish to pursue full-time tertiary level education. If you are a permanent employee who wish to study while continuing your employment, then our work-study loan is for you. Our special student loan is in collaboration with the government of Grenada, geared towards vulnerable persons who would like to pursue higher level education. Remember, you must have proof of admission from a recognized institution here at home or abroad. All our loans are 100% financing with interest rates as low as 5%. Get your funding from GDB today for your tertiary level education, your technical training or vocational training, even professional development, with up to 12 years to repay. Your future success is today. Grab it now. Education is the key to success. The Grenada Development.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
Student loan. Our regular student loan is for persons who wish to pursue full-time tertiary level education. If you are a permanent employee who wish to study while continuing your employment, then our work-study loan is for you. Our special student loan is in collaboration with the government of Grenada, geared towards vulnerable persons who would like to pursue higher level education. Remember, you must have proof of admission from a recognized institution here at home or abroad. All our loans are 100% financing with interest rates as low as 5%. Get your funding from GDB today for your tertiary level education, your technical training or vocational training, even professional development, with up to 12 years to repay. Your future success is today. Grab it now.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
It's that time again for partying. Start the thing to give me the leeway. Back and start on the freeway. I'm feeling as if it's me.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we're in studio just for the few minutes that we have remaining today. My name is Sheldon Scott.
And I'm Devon Romain.
Yes, and it is Hard Talk. You've had the post-cabinet press briefing. Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, Member of Parliament for St. George Northwest, Minister of Finance, Minister of National Security. There's a lot of things. I can't go through all of that. Implementation, ICT, or piloting. And Prime Minister. Yeah, political leader of the New National Party.
And one open bat we had. He stayed there. He beat all the pace bowlers and spinners and things, took care of them.
Yeah. But indeed, folks, we just have a few minutes remaining on today's program, roughly about 21 minutes or so remaining on today's program. And Prime Minister did speak about the pension issue. some person should have started already collecting their checks.
Yeah.
Some people who've received the pension payments, that's those who qualify between, well, the gratuity payments, and then they would start to receive their pensions. So those persons who would qualify, along with Ms. Hermelin Armstrong, for between the years the April 1983 to March of 1985, I think it's February, March 1985. Once you got into the service at that point in time, that's the first qualification criteria. You had to enter the government service within that space of time. You had to have spent 26 1/3 years in government service in government service. That's the next thing. Not 20 years, not 15 years, not 5 years, not 5 months, but 26 1/3. And the third qualifying criteria is must have been in a pensionable position. So it could not have been on the unestablished staff. It has to be on the established. You get your letter from the Public Service Commission. You so and so are appointed to the post of so and so from today. Right? Today, whatever day it is, ting, 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 ting. So once you have that bit of information, and so you can check with the pension secretariat, because there may be one or two of you that are out there. Even there may be some of you that are outside of Grenada right now who may not have registered with the pension secretariat. Now, the secretariat is located in the Kaipo building. That's the first building as you enter in Mount Welldale. And I don't think anybody who worked between 83 and 85 don't know where Mount Welldale is. I ain't think it about a single Grenadian could tell me they worked between 1983 and 1985 and they do not know where Mount Welldale is. Right. So you can go to the pension secretariat there and find out, because some people have been calling and trying to find out if they qualify. But you see, I wouldn't be able to say that. There have been instances, as was pointed out by the Honorable Oliver Joseph. Morning, Ollie. Yeah, Brother Ollie, morning. Yeah, man. St. David's there? Yeah, we in resection. Nice. Yeah. He did mention there are persons who spent as much as 34, 35, 33 years in the service and do not qualify for the pension because they may have spent 10 out of that 35 years or even as much as 15 in a non-pensionable position. And there was one individual who had spent 32 years, but when they checked it out, 7 of the 32 years were in a non-pensionable position. So that person did not make the qualified time in a pensionable position to receive their gratuity and pensions and so on. They could receive a special pension, I don't think they'll get the gratuity. They'd receive a pension.
Small pension.
Yeah, they receive a pension, but not at the level of the others, and so on. So, but to find out what you qualify for, if you qualify for anything, you need to get your documents together and go to the pension secretariat. Some $7 million. I ain't find nobody talking about that, you know. No, $7 million, you know.
That's a lot of money in this time, too.
And you know, government didn't have to pay that money now. What government could have done is that when Ms. Hermelin Armstrong won that case, all that Dr. Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and the new National Party administration, the cabinet at the time, all they had to do was ask the Attorney General to appeal the case. Appeal the case, and once the case was appealed, that would have been it, yeah? Yeah, 26 2/3, not 26 1/3. Yeah, so 26, let me say 27, right? So if you spend around 27 years, go and check. Nice, but when you're going, that's why I'm saying, go into the pension secretariat. The individuals that there would be able to give you the information you need. Yeah, the individuals who are there would be able to give you the information you need. So you need to go in and see them. Yeah? So go into the pension secretariat. Good morning, Coast Guard. All the Coast Guard officers.
Yeah.
Everybody. From the rank and file. Yeah.
Officer Pierre.
No, you had to call them in cutlass and file them. Because they went sharp, you know. Yeah, scalpel and file.
The Coast Guard, man.
Yeah, scalpel and file. No rank and file when it comes to the Coast Guard. We had to call them scalpel and file. Because them in them sharp, surgery precision. Yeah, man. That's a pretty good long day. So he's saying a special good morning to the Coast Guard officers and all the officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force. They should be having a press conference. I think it's been rescheduled. I don't know if for later today or tomorrow. But if it's scheduled for later today, we'll endeavor to get the taping of that so that we can broadcast it for you. They will be speaking about their spice mass operations and so. Prime Minister himself this morning did speak about law and order. He did speak about law and order. And I agree 1,000,000% and more with what the Prime Minister said. I can't see how you I really can't see how I would buy my clothes for how much $100 and my shoes for how much $100. Yeah, expensive shoes that as well. My shoes for how much, you know, sometimes I pass by Cami and get shoes. But anyway, how much $100 for my clothes? How much $100 for my shoes? Go and fix my hair. And if you're watching my video right now, you know my hair ain't fixed. But when I fix that hair, is that money I just had to spend too, eh? So I go and fix my hair, go and fix my shoes, nice up myself, and pay, according to the party, as much as $75 to go to a party. Have to spend the money to gas up my vehicle and so. And if you're going with a friend, then you have to dress the friend and you have to buy the ticket for the friend too. And after you do all of that, I'll put a knife in my pocket or a cutlass. I go in and look for a man to go and... What does do all you? What does do all you? I don't go in no party and look for no man. You go in with a knife. You go in and look for a man. You go with a cutlass. You go in and look for a man. Loads of women in the party looking for a man to dance.
I mean, it's alright, but a man...
But I don't even... You put in a knife in your pocket. You go in and look for a man. A cutlass in your pocket. You go in and look for a man.
The ratio is about 7 to 1, you know. And you're still looking for a man.
But ask nicely, you don't just go and jam up them girl and them kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to ask. And these women, they're very polite. They will give you a dance. They will hang out with you, but you gotta ask them.
Some.
Yeah, you gotta ask
some
them.
Some go get a high fall, but some.
Yeah. Be respected, you know, be respectful. And so because they want to have fun just like you. Right? But you need to, you know, but not with your knife in your waist and cutlass and that kind of thing, and you know.
Oh, yeah, come on. I mean, what kind of where you going and do the knife dance? The cutlass joke? What kind of dance is that? Serious. And when the police find someone uno, and here now, I think they must make it a charge as interference with police business. When some of the idiots, and I refuse to call you all any other thing, some of the idiots go online and post on Facebook the police searching at point A or point B. Stupidity is your own life you're in danger in. Yeah. Because next thing, somebody is traveling with an illegal firearm. They have a beef with somebody and they find carnival time is the only time they could find them to do what they have to do to them. And they go to the same activity that you might be heading to, or the same one that your little son or your little daughter or your brother or your sister or your mother or father working at. They may be going to the same activity. But here you come and you put up on Facebook, police roadblock at this point. So that person avoids the police roadblock and gets to the activity. And you know what? When they fire behind, who they fire behind, it take one of your family members or it take you. Or they pelt in blade. And when they pelt in blade, instead of it take who they aiming at, because you know some fellas have a long swing.
Yeah, right.
So according to how they do what they do, one are your family members or you get it. Get it through your heads. It's a dunce thing, and anybody I see doing it on Facebook, no, all 5,000 people friends with me on Facebook, please take note. Anybody I see putting up where the police have roadblocks over the next few weeks, I will personally screenshot it and give it to the Commissioner of Police for you to be dealt with. Yes, delete me now or block me now. Because any of you that I see doing it, I will screenshot you and know that a Sheldon Scott do it. I'm going to screenshot you and I'm going to give it directly to the Commissioner of Police. Let the chips fall where they may. Because you cannot be interfering in the police business like that. It's you they're trying to protect. It's you, it's me, it's all of us they're trying to protect. You have people that don't have license and driving. And when they come and they damage your vehicle or they damage you now, you want to cuss and ask where the police and them was. The police and them was there trying to find the person, but you
alert them
not to pass there.
Yeah. Pass around so, pass over the Belvedere and pass around thing and look at the police down so.
Watch out. They by Governor General residence.
Yeah.
So take it through Mount Parnassus and come down. Yeah? Pass down through Tempe. Pass over Mount Jalou and come through the valley. All they feel is so.
And
Right now,
not knowing what that person may be carrying. Right?
yeah, they feel it's only drugs some of these people carrying. They're carrying all kind of things.
All sorts of things that,
And we're not saying that Grenada is a violent country, that we have these sort of things. But just in case you have that one individual with that sick mindset, there must be the ability by the Royal Grenada Police Force to do their job unencumbered and unfettered.
Exactly.
To ensure that they capture all of them.
Most importantly, we have to, because we continue to just alert persons who maybe have intention of breaking the law, and so I mean that is bad. Sheldon said that endangers all of us.
Yeah, it might be our children.
All of us. Yeah,
might be us.
I mean,
you're innocent. You're walking, and you pick up a blade. Somebody give you a cut. Running through to stab somebody. You get it. Sometimes it's the person that you go there with, they're looking to attack. You don't know. So this stupidness about putting up that police roadblock here, police roadblock there. Anybody I see doing it, and I encourage all of you, when you see those things, screenshot it, give it to the police. Let them know who the individuals that are doing this nonsense are. Screenshot it, give it to the police. Yeah? Nice. Okay. Right. So we see in there from WPG 10 who is who. Yeah, but I still ain't saying nothing.
Nah, neither me.
Nah, when the police say, I go say. I ain't saying nothing before the police. Thank you, WPG 10.
Most.
Yeah. Yeah, I have PAG 1, but I'm at WPG 10. So, yeah. But that sort of nonsense has to stop, man. And you know, I always go back. Teachers are very important, huh? I always go back to one of my teachers when I was in secondary school that sat us down as young men and said to us, and we were roughly at the age of 12, 13. He said, why would I spend all my money, go and take me a nice haircut and look fresh and all kind of thing, to go in a party for a man to bust my head, mess up my clothes, I had to go and take stitches, I can't do anything, I ain't get to see the party and all kind of, why must I go to look for a fight in a party? I'm going to enjoy myself. Yeah. That's what you're spending money to do. You know, he sat us down and he spoke to us, and I must say that it stuck with me. I could tell you that a teacher told me that at the age of about 12, and it stuck with me since then. That's why me ain't going no party with those that are knife and this and looking for fight and all kind of thing.
I am not going to leave home to go to a party and with friends who have the intention of going and cause trouble.
That's the next one. Sometimes it's not you have it on you, it's the friend you're going with.
The friend. You see, so that's the thing. We have to be careful about who we hang out with, who we go certain places with, and what they carry and everything like that. Right? You don't want to get caught up in a situation like that. You may be innocent, right? But one of your friends go and look for trouble and everybody gets involved. Right, so be careful in this, especially around this festive time. It must always be done, but around this festive time, choose your friends, choose who you want to hang out with, and so who you drink with, and everything like that. Because you know, around this time, so many things happen.
Friend does bring you good, they don't bring you back. It's a well-known, established fact. Right? Okay. I ain't singing the rest of that song. That's for Carol people to sing, not for me. Folks, yesterday the fogging crew, they were in Corinth. And the environs, including Lassa. Just today from 5 p.m. they'll be in Cherry Hill and environs, including the blogger. So Cherry Hill, Indian and the boys by the shop, and the entire crew up there in Cherry Hill. So Cherry Hill and environs, I wonder if they're going on by Shortman and them too. From Cherry Hill they're going on Fontenoy.
I guess, yeah, they might.
And if they're just doing Cherry Hill as in Cherry Hill, or they do Fontenoy a separate day.
Dengue, they coming at you, you know. Yeah, you have a guy right in Cherry Hill at the time, and they call him Dengue. So I'm just telling him that the foggers coming.
Yeah, they must get rid of him.
Yeah. But Baptiste, good morning to you, my friend.
I'm a partner. Just the other day I passed by him. Yes, indeed. And folks, tomorrow, Emancipation Day. I feel I could show down some African music in between day tomorrow. I could show down some Orisha. Yeah, some Shango. I go shake the place with some Ogun and Gedei. Yeah, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Dabo, tomorrow, the fogging crew will be in Dabo tomorrow. And on Thursday, they'll be in Mount Rush and environs, including the National Stadium.
Exactly.
You know, around that state, right. Nice, good. And then on Friday, they'll be in River Road. So, you know, basically, Cherry Hill today, including the blogger and so on. Dabo, yeah, Devon trying to make a case for them to come in here. Yeah, he's slapping mosquito in here.
Mount Telegan too.
Mount Telecon, yeah. It seems as though we have a water source somewhere. I feel it's the tank there. I feel it's that tank. That tank they look like the yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah, we had to turn the pipe on and empty it or something, I think.
We had to deal with it.
Capside. Me climbed it. Ivan up put that thing, so you know. You see, twist the Hurricane Ivan twist that like that in 2004, and since then he been like that.
Ivan, I go trade down.
I ain't going and touch it.
Ivan, if Ivan do it, Ivan, I go trade down.
Nazi be alive? No, Ivan that twist that tank tower it is up there, so? Yeah, me ain't going and touch that. It's still a piece of galvanized in the tree there from Ivan.
Yeah. That I know.
At the top of the tree there. Yeah, everything grew up around it now, but the galvanized still in the tree there. Yeah, you'll feel the tree and the galvanized is one. Yes, indeed, folks. So we just have a few minutes remaining. But we say again, to those of you, and I have a message that I want to give to especially the youngsters for the carnival season and so. Be very careful with your behaviors through the carnival season. And I'll say this, even while the press conference was going on, I got a call from someone looking for a recommendation from a young person. The young person put me down as a recommender, a good person, so I could have given a good recommendation of them. But supposing now, after I give that good recommendation, the person goes onto their Facebook profile and sees some really out of the way thing. I mean, it's carnival time, so we could understand that you might dress in a particular way. And we could understand that. We expect you to go cruise in church clothes. Not any straight. I ain't expect them to go on a cruise in church clothes. I do expect you to go on the beach in a jumpsuit.
Or long pants.
Yeah, I ain't expect that. We understand that you're going out to parties and you go a different way. But even with the dressing, it's not fully the dressing, you know. Some instances for some people it's the way that you dress. But for some other people, it is the way that you behave when you go out. Yeah, to be totally drunk and not know what's going on around you. And then I'm still seeing it where young ladies are allowing fellas to just go and buy drinks with them. Fellas with long fingernail. Yeah, hiding the thing under the fingernail and drop it in your drink. Yeah? Flip the cork for you, and by the time they flip the cork, it down inside there already.
Young boys getting caught up in that too.
Yeah, some young fellas getting drunk.
They've been victim of that.
And it's what they're doing to the young boys that they drug. Some of them playing all they greedy. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what they're doing to the young. Don't feel it's only young ladies that does get wake up in the morning and certain parts of their body hurting them and they wondering who do it. It have it happening to fellas too.
Serious thing.
So folks, you've got to be careful. You've got to be very, very careful with your behaviors, especially those of you young people.
Yeah.
After the carnival, you might be looking for a job. Especially those of you that just finish exams, you just finish your A-levels, you just finish your CXC exams and so, and you're waiting right now on your results. So you're freeing up because for the last year and a half, you've been deep in the books and so on, and you want to free up. But remember, when you get those results, in some instances, I would suggest that you went on to further education, but in some instances, you're going to look for a job. And if you're looking for the job, and when the person looks at that Facebook profile, they see London, France, and England, and they see all sorts of behavior, and they see you totally drunk, and you think that that is something that you should promote about yourself, that you're drunk, or that you've been drunk, and you want to promote the fact that you could drink the most rum and you're drunk, because I'm not going to hire you, because I'm going to think that Ash Wednesday morning, I ain't go see you.
At all.
And my business has to go on.
Ash Wednesday and on a Monday morning.
Yeah. I'm going to think that if you have to work on a Saturday and there's a big fete on a Friday, that I could basically forget about seeing you on the Saturday morning. So I'm not going to hire you. I'm telling you straight, as a person who does interviews and interviews people, there are certain things that we look for. And if I realize that you're a rumbo basically and that is what you like and you're blocking drain and all sort of thing, I ain't going and hire you. So you have to be careful. Come on, young people. You have to be careful. I'm looking at your profile, you know.
And
I'm telling you all what to post, but I'm telling you all what your post gonna cause.
Yeah. And you know another thing, especially, and I'm stressing on you young ladies, please, your dress code. I'm begging you, young ladies, I mean, women in their 30s and 40s, man. I love to see beautiful women, but I love to see beautiful women in their clothing, right? You look much better. So some of you women basically walking with your breasts outside and all this type of thing. What you wear in person, seeing everything. I mean, come on. It is not good. It's not a good example for the younger ones. Some of you walking with your children while you have on that attire. I'm begging you for this season, please. Yes, wear clothes that is comfortable, but wear decent clothes. Begging you, women, young women, as well as some of you elder women who don't know what size of clothes to wear. Wearing those little children clothes. Big women. And so please, do better than that. All right? It's just, I mean, a friendly advice to all of you out there, right? We want to ensure that you continue to remain decent and you respect yourself. If you want respect, you have to earn it.
Yes, indeed. And young fellas, don't think that some of you dressing proper too. As I said, we don't expect you to put on church clothes and go on a day cruise.
Exactly.
We don't expect you to put on a jumpsuit or overall and go on the beach and beach jam. We don't expect those sort of things. But there's a certain limit to how far you should go. And even as fellas, I ain't interested in seeing you behind.
That's all.
Some of you, especially when you're playing jab and all kind of thing, you want to put on tongue and all kind of thing and walk and
I'm interested in that. And some of you here with your pants all below your bottom and your boxer, I mean, most of it in clean, dirty. Who want to see that?
Oh, you know it dirty. You watching?
No, well, they're coming in the bus. Look, you have young guys or men coming in the bus.
I avert my eyes.
Well, you can't help it because they're coming close by you. They might pass close by you. And these things. So, I mean, come on. You have to be careful how you dress and when you're moving around people. It's not good. You understand? Somebody might not tell you anything, but hey,
I must say, though, that when it comes to the bus conductors, by and large, and the bus drivers, I think a lot of them have lifted their standard.
A lot of improvement.
A lot of improvement from what a kind of trend they were seeing before. You're not seeing that, and I want to congratulate the bus drivers and conductors. I can't say the last time, and I do take bus from time to time, and I can't say the last time I go on a bus and the conductor giving you a cent or the driver, you say, let's say driver and the driver. These guys taking with good care of themselves, and I know
professional now,
I feel like going by Cami and buy the nice little deodorant and perfume and
everything. So
getting the nice little shoe,
definitely,
and they're getting the little thing with the money bag and all kind of thing. They're going and get a thing by Cami.
Yep, she have everything. The shaving stick, they buying all the thing and take care of themselves.
Yeah,
that is what we want to see.
Time is nearly up on us. Just to remind people that on Saturday, Kiddies Carnival. Yeah, Devon? Kiddies Carnival on Saturday?
Oh yeah, Kiddies Carnival. Saturday. That's all. Including the panorama
Calypso and the panorama.
And so, but I think the junior Calypso is on Friday.
They moved it. Well, I'll find out. I didn't know.
Yesterday I was listening.
So they separated it from it?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, because I think year before, so they did it at the because the entire process was so long. That they moved it to Carnival City.
Exactly.
So probably.
We'll
find out. We'll find out
more, and then we'll let
Kate is going to be there.
Oh yeah.
When I say Kate, young Kate, Kate, what's her name again? Mitchell. That's the reigning champion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she'll be defending her crown, and she'll be doing that on. You said Friday. We'll confirm. And then the new National Party All-Day Fete that's taking place next week Saturday, not this week Saturday.
Next week Saturday.
Yeah, get your tickets. They're going to have every type of food that you could think about up at Mount Helicon, together with drinks and so on. You'll be able to interact with the Prime Minister and other members of Parliament. They'll be around for that All-Day Fete. I think some artists may be passing through and so from time to time. So it's going to be a wonderful one. Yeah, whether it's oil dong and you want the oil long with crab or you want the oil long, I ain't too sure if you will get wild meat. You understand? The kind of time of the year and thing.
Well, you surprised. You have some men that have it in freezer for months.
Yeah.
Waiting for the monkey, manicure, tattoo.
That I could make a pass in the bush later. But anyhow, let me don't do that. That is illegal. We ain't doing. Mr. Commissioner, no, I ain't serious. I'm not going in the bush later. No, I'm not. All right? Nice. Yeah, I'll be home later. I have some work to do on the computer. I'll be doing my computer work later. I would not be doing that.
According to Depot, all the talkers, just stop talking and come out and support Panorama. Please come out next Saturday. Yeah. Carnival Saturday panorama. Stop talking pan and support pan.
Right, so I get a confirmation here. The Junior Calypso will be on Friday at 8 p.m. and it will be on the Tantine Court. So it wouldn't be in Carnival City. It's going to be on the Tantine Court.
Yep.
All right, so that's what I get from somebody that sent it today right one time. Right.
They listening? I know you listening.
All right. Nice. Folks, that's all the time we have for today. It's been wonderful being here with you. And tomorrow we endeavor to be with you again on Hard Talk of 97.5 City Sound FM.
89.5 CRFM.
92.9 Sister Isle FM where Lisa is and me and Shane talking.
Lisa Berry. And 94.9 We Vibes Radio in Brooklyn.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Kudumunu win. I hear about it for a long time.
Oh gosh, I had to call him when we're done. Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. And everything you say, everything you do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you.
And not about you.
Love you all.
Peace out.
Yeah, let me see
the
if I
most
find
anticipated talked about event of 2018 on the 8th day of the 8th month 2018. Concept Events presents Pre-Day Ladies First, the Black Edition 3.0. 8 international acts, 8 local superstars. Pre-Day. Grenada National Stadium, August 8th, 2018. $15 advance tickets, $60 after. More at the door. VIP $450, catered by Sandals Grenada Resort and Spa. Reserve yours today. Tickets online at gotofet.com. Stay tuned for more. Pre-Day, ladies first.
This year's Spice Mass climaxes on August 13th and 14th. It is an event you just cannot afford to miss. I am Tamaya Monroe, Miss Grenada 2017, inviting you to the festivities, the shortney and all the different traditional mass, the fancy mass, the Monday night mass, and as Specky say, the best part of Carnival, the Juve. Spice Mass 2018 is one that's going to be fun, epic, unforgettable. Miss Grenada 2017 Tamaya Monroe inviting you to the Carnival Queen Show on August 9th, 2018 to witness the 7 beautiful ladies contesting for the title Miss Grenada 2018. It is an event that you cannot afford to miss. Miss Grenada said so.
This one is for mommy. You play your part and you still playing your part. I love you from my heart, boy. Mommy, you lost some love your body. Put it till you depart. This one's from my heart.
Viking.
Just now. Take a chip, take a chip, take a chip, take a chip now. Hey. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, wow. We are the sound of 100,000 coming on the road. We are the vibration that you feel when the music low.
Grenada, August the 11th, the biggest white fete to hit the Grenada National Stadium is coming. And it's coming like a big bad raging storm. Who's coming with it? The Vikings, of course. Bungee Garden, Fairlands, and March, full squad. 3 big bands, 8 regional acts, 10 local acts from Grenada. This is going to be crazy. The maddest thing to hit in 2018. And the Vikings coming on the plane, straight off the jumbo jet. Man, find yourself there. Grenada National Stadium, August the 11th. All we come here for, bacchanal and water, boom!
Pull your phone, tap the screen. Double times road match winners.
2016, 2017, and 2018. We're going to make some history in Grenada.
Last year, it was mass. This year is just more mass.
Talking about Spice Mass 2018. We want everybody to come, support, and let's have a good time on the Spice Isle. It's all about enjoyment and fun. Pretty mass and colors and jab and everything. So we just want everybody to unite, and it's all about tapping the screen.
They can't wait for us to come. Remember, come and experience the greatest carnival of all.
And also come and experience the beaches and the beautiful island, right? It's all about 2018 Spice Mass Carnival. Come enjoy.
Last night I drink the rum and I falling numb, but I know this morning I'm waking up.
Tap the screen.
Pull your phone. Remember, it's going to be epic. 2018 mass.
We're not giving up. We're not giving up. Sound the drum, boy. And I'm winding down and I'm getting on tonight. Standing firm, boy.
But in a single mom, child is hard to mind. Deadbeat fathers just make me sick. Let's do something to get rid of this problem quick.
Yes, this is me, Rootsman Kelly, 2017 Calypso Monarch of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik. I'm inviting you, everyone, come down to Spice Mass 2018 and enjoy yourself with me. Remember, you will be enjoying the Jab Jab, Traditional Mass, Juve, Soca Monarch, and of course, the Dimanche Gras 2018 will be the best ever.
No. You live me.
Deluxe Cinema. You always ice me on your shoulder.
Wondering about this new kid on the block.
Youth man learn, me say youth man learn. Youth man, you will get your turn.
Come down to Grenada and enjoy yourself.
Plastic rice, plastic cheese, and plastic corn.
Look up now! Watch up now! My name is Jalen Olive, better known as Boise, better known as the Madras, your cultural ambassador, 4-time Soca Monarch of Grenada, 2-times OECS Monarch, and 2-times Road Match, inviting you to Spice Mass 2018. This will be the one to experience. Well, Carnival Friday night is the biggest night because guess what? One stage, one night, 2 competitions, groovy and power. And guess what? Your artist may be the one. You never know. Come out and see who take the title. Foreigners come down to see it. Enough vibes, enough energy. Rag, flag, bandanas. It's pandemonium on that night, so you don't know. I mean, I will be defending on that night, so make sure and be there. Carnival Friday night, Soca Monarch, number 5. Johnny! Say put your hand up in the air. Rag up in the air. Put your flag up in the air. Put your hand up in the air. Put it up. 1, 2, put it up.
Call me alone on the road, and I don't need no company. Fuck my riches mass. Smash the pen total.
Greetings, people. It's a 2-time Groovy Monarch, the man himself, Dash, the lyrical assassin, the groove man. 2 years in a row I've been capturing the Groovy Monarch of Grenada, going for the 3rd year to create history. So come and witness on the night now. Come and enjoy, because remember, we're grooving. And over the years, we know Groovy Monarch has been growing. Performance, the energy, the stage, everything just been different over the years.
She on the set, and so the girl looking best. Sing this.
I feel I go on again.
Keep up it. You are the best. Keep up it.
No personal.
All on the road, inside the bank.
So come out on the 10th and witness pure energy, pure vibes, music, bacchanal, rags, flags. Witness history as I go for the 3rd one, to defend and to bring it home, back to the Ville. Remember, down the road, where we go, in 118, the 120 zone.